the Vegas Vic show here. I just wanted to do a quick video about the dangers of this country going down a very ominous path and the seriousness that we are in this country right now. We have a regime that is trying to brainwash us and gaslight us to believing lie after lie. And they always say, you keep telling lies over and over again, you start to believe them. And that's what they're trying to get us to do, is to believe these lies over and over again. We're going to listen to some commentators that I really like and support and follow. Go check them out. I'm just going to play some short clips and you can go check out these videos on their channel in full. I just wanted to add some context and some additional commentary because I think they make really good points and I really admire what they're doing, and they're leading a wonderful charge of freedom and fight for this country, and they are true patriots. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot because it has so much weight, but these are real patriots. So I just wanted to shout out some of these creators. So Adam Mockler, go check him out on YouTube. He's basically going to be talking in this clip about this whole conference that they had a few days ago with Stephen Miller and Tom Homan, talking about just terrible things. Like, this is not a good thing to have these people in the administration talking like this. If this was any other administration, we'd be talking about it 24/7, but we are becoming desensitized to this and we can't let that happen. So I'm going to play some of this and then I'm going to add some of my commentary to it.
Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering.
It's kind of funny he says that because just 2 minutes ago, Tom Homan was calling for more bloodshed.
There will be bloodshed, and I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed.
All right, everybody, check this out. This morning has been an all-out blitz for these right-wing MAGA freaks who are flooding our airwaves with their radical vitriol, trying to divide this country, pull it to the far, far rights, and it is our duty to push back against this. Stephen Miller is perhaps the worst of all. He's the deputy chief of staff for Donald Trump, and he's essentially the mastermind of a lot of the most radical, vicious policies throughout Donald Trump's political career. He's the one who wanted to challenge birthright citizenship. He's the one who set the quota for 2,000 deportees a day, therefore turning ICE into a rogue terrorist organization. Donald Trump is the one executing it and carrying it out. I'm not trying to remove any agency there, but Stephen Miller is the one who comes up with these sick-in-the-head ideas. That's why we call him sick-in-the-head Stephen Miller. Now, he's speaking at a conference today called The Resurgence of Political Terrorism. The name is a little bit too on the nose. Like, you might think that they're talking about ICE roaming our streets, killing both U.S. citizens, people on workers' permits, roaming the U.S. streets, literally violating our constitutional rights. But no, he spends this entire speech trying to attack the left, trying to weaken the entire democratic apparatus of the United States and imply that one side is a terrorist organization. That's what he does. I would never say that every single Republican or that the Republican Party as a whole is a terrorist organization. I'm not that divisive. I have no need to be. The reality is Donald Trump and his MAGA movement are regressing our country back to a pre-constitutional order where Trump can be uniquely corrupt, where we can strip away rights, and this MAGA movement is radical in and of itself. I don't need to paint half of the country in one way, but Stephen Miller does. He wants one-party rule to carry out his most extreme immigration visions, and we have to push back. So let's break this all down. If you appreciate this, drop a like, subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed, and can I just point out the irony very quickly? While Stephen Miller was giving that speech, one of his friends, Tom Homan, who is the border czar, was on Fox News talking about bloodshed. He said it all goes back to the Dems. There's going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they acted. So, wait, we're the political terrorists, left-wingers who potentially want more health care and less wealth inequality, and not Tom Homan, who's broadcasting his vitriol to millions of Americans on Fox News? Listen.
But it all goes back to the Dems, who want to continually attack ICE and tell people to evade them, tell people don't comply, tell people to resist, and tell people ICE isn't real law enforcement agency. You and I talked about this 1.5 years ago, Laura. I said if the hateful rhetoric didn't stop, there will be bloodshed. And I'm saying it right now. There's still going to be more bloodshed unless they shut their mouth and let ICE enforce the laws that they enacted.
I hope this isn't crude or blunt to say, but this is like rapist mindset. If you don't shut your mouth and let it happen, it's only going to get worse, is what he's saying. So as ICE is violating.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, he's right on this. Like, look, the this whole thing, this whole narrative that they're trying to write, they're working overtime to try to undermine things, and it's daily. It's getting worse, and it's going to get worse. And we've been warning people about it. That our democracy is under attack. It is literally under attack, and we have to try to fight back peacefully. Yes, I'm 100% about peaceful protest and stuff like that. And I'm not advocating. I never advocate for violence or anything like that. That's, that's not something we want to see in this country. At the same time, they are the ones that they're amping up this violent rhetoric, this intimidation, and at some point people will get tired of it, and it is a concern that people will start acting out, and that to a point is what they want. They could also do false flags if they really wanted to. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, if we remove Trump, it's going to solve everything. And it's not. It is not. Because you have people like this that are even worse to an extent. And that's saying something than Donald Trump, because he's being influenced by some really messed up people. Now, he's never been a very good person, but he's also gotten to this point where he's putting these people around him because they show him so much loyalty, and he feels like that he has to throw them out a bone. So they're out there saying all these crazy things. As long as it doesn't make him look extraordinarily bad, he's going to let them go and say what they want, because it enforces this whole racism, misogynistic type message that they have. And it's terrible, and it inspires people to do horrible things. And they try to put it on the left when it's really the right that's getting more and more emboldened by this kind of rhetoric. We're going to move on to Hawk's podcast. Go check him out. Hawk's also he's on TikTok as well. And Hawk is amazing. He's a former he's retired now, but he's a former trial lawyer who lives in California, and I think he's excellent with his analogy. It's no fluff. He's not cutting corners. He's not sugarcoating it like some commentators. Like, oh, hey, we're all right. Let's hold hands and sing songs and everything's just going to be okay. Because at the end of the day, they don't care about that stuff. Now, though, I'm not diminishing protests. If people want to protest, hey, that's great. Don't let them put the fear in you of not wanting to go out and vote and protest and speak your mind. But at the same time, they're also designating people as terrorists that do these kinds of things. And now, yesterday, they were basically saying, like, we're going to go after the senators. We're going to go after whoever we want that we think is going to try to hold up elections or interfere. We're threatening jail time, prosecutions, threatening states that don't comply with turning over voter rolls and stuff like that. Like, that's just not normal. That's not how democracy works. And so we're going to listen to a little bit of Hawk. And again, go follow him. Somebody I really admire, and I think he really hits it on the head when it comes to the reality we're living in.
Happy Friday morning, everybody. It's about 8:45 a.m. I had plans last night, so I did not watch Donald Trump's speech when it happened. I'm going to make a separate video about that speech. It was boring. First and foremost, it was incredibly boring. He produced nothing of substance. Evidence that he did produce proved that Russia tried to help him in the 2020 election, but we'll talk more about that later. My big picture takeaway from yesterday in its totality, between Todd Blanche's confirmation hearing, between Marco Rubio's speech about criminalizing the left, between Stephen Miller's speech about criminalizing and prosecuting as terrorists people on the left, combined with Donald Trump's speech last night indicating quite clearly that he and his administration are not going to accept the results of the midterm elections. When you combine those three things, you're going to have a DOJ, a deputy White House chief of staff, and a president who are going to criminalize, arrest, prosecute, and charge as terrorists anyone on the left who has a problem with Donald Trump stealing the midterm elections. And the overwhelming takeaway that I have from all of that from yesterday is that white people in this country who are comfortable need to start preparing themselves. They need to be ready to put their bodies on the line. White people in this country who are comfortable need to prepare themselves for being arrested and charged with crimes and being held in detention warehouses for a period of days or weeks. That is what I think it's going to take to protect and preserve free elections for the midterms in November. They're going to classify us as terrorists. They're going to designate us as terrorists. They're going to designate us as members of Antifa. And if we are not out in the streets, they're going to get away with all of this. Simply showing up to the polls and voting, I don't believe that's going to be enough this time, because this administration is not going to accept those ballots. They're not going to accept those election results. And yesterday proved to me that they are going to bump everything up several notches significantly. And that's what we need to be prepared for.
Yeah, and he's 100% right. He's 100% right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the whole thing that is the most concerning is most people are just like, well, whatever. They just go about their day. And it's not like we have to live in fear all the time. And oh my gosh, we can't do anything. But boy, I tell you, people are just like, it's kind of like, you know, some of the asteroid movies where people are like, oh, the asteroid's coming, we'll just go party. And I mean, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be more substance that we do besides just the protests. There needs to be a national strike. There needs to be a national walkout, and not just for like 15, 20 minutes. It can't just be like, hey, we're going to beat on our drums and hold up our signs and sing kumbaya songs and then just go back to work and just go back to our normal lives like nothing's going on. Because it's the complacency of the just continuous, nonstop bullshit that they're feeding us. A conveyor belt of trash. And we're supposed to buy it. And we're supposed to support it and be like, oh, yeah, that's... And then, oh, my gosh, if we come out and say, oh, no, that's not cool, now we're terrorists. And there's a lot of people that are like, oh, well, geez, you know, the regime is slowly decaying. You can say that to an extent they're losing some of their base. Yeah, there's people that have regret, but there's enough people that if they wanted to really do damage to this country that's already been happening, it could be a lot worse. The last one we're going to listen to is Aaron Parnes, and that's just a short clip. Go check him out. He's out on YouTube, Substack, really great commentary for news, no fluff. He gets right to the point.
One day after Donald Trump addressed the nation and spread election lies, the Department of Homeland Security is now in full gear trying to implement changes to America's election system. You need to know what's happening. Mark Wayne Mullen, the DHS secretary, is threatening state officials who don't comply with jail and prison time, saying that they will prosecute state officials who do not comply with the administration's demands. He said he is making, quote, mandatory changes to America's elections, including requiring states across the country to begin the process of, quote, scrubbing their voter rolls, claiming without evidence that foreign governments are somehow hacking into America's elections and changing votes. Yet, once again, no evidence has been shown. A lot of people laughed off Trump's speech last night, saying that he contradicted himself, the documents contradicted what he was saying, but I've said it from the beginning. That wasn't the point of the speech. The point of the speech was to begin laying the groundwork to interfere with the upcoming midterm elections, and that's what's happening already. Spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about. More to come soon.
Yeah, and he's 100% right. This again, this is what's going on. And yeah, there's some stuff that's going on. There's some issues with, like, okay, there's some cognitive issues. I was watching he's a doctor. He does some analysis of body language, and he kind of now does analysis of some stuff that people say and how they move and pretty much everything, how they stand. And he was basically saying that it was Donald Trump in decline. And I'm sure he is, but that makes it even more dangerous. And he's got, again, a surrounding of people that are just so absolutely just off the wall. So yeah, we have a lot to really be concerned about. So just, again, don't be scared, be prepared. This election, this midterms is going to be serious though. And I really hope I'm wrong. I foresee some things coming. So if you like this content, please like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Until the next video, take care.